Warming up for the snatch is not as complicated as it seems. Here's a very quick barbell warm-up that you can use to warm up for the snatch, and at the end of the video, I'm gonna add some modifications in this for you if you need to work on specific aspects of your technique or your mobility. To start our barbell warm-up, we're going to do a general movement prep. The first exercise that we're going to do is take the empty barbell, put it up on our back, and go through back squats. We're shooting for 5 to 10 reps of these, or as many as you need to get your knees, hips, and ankles feeling warm. After that, we'll move our hands out to our snatch grip position, tuck our elbows down, and press the barbell straight up overhead, emphasizing the lockout position. Same thing here, 5 to 10 reps with the empty barbell. The next exercise, and the one that you'll likely need to spend the most time with, is the overhead squat. In that locked out overhead position that we practice with the snatch press, we're going to sit into the deepest possible overhead squat. Feel free to pause here and work to keep your chest up and your feet flat. That's the general warm-up for the snatch, 5 to 10 reps with an empty barbell of each of the exercises. Now feel free to add extra reps into any of these if you find that it takes longer for your legs to warm up than it does for your shoulders, or vice versa. The next part of your warm-up is a skill warm-up. We want to warm up for the snatch. The best thing that we can do is practice the snatch. So we're going to start with the foundation of the snatch, the hip snatch or power position snatch. With the empty barbell, bend your knees into your power position and then jump up and catch on the squat. This allows us to start moving a little bit faster, a little bit more explosive, while we're also working on the key techniques in the snatch using vertical leg drive, keeping the bar close to our body, and moving our feet to the correct position. For this exercise, anywhere from 3 to 10 reps will get the job done. The next exercise in our warm-up is great, especially for beginners who are still mastering their start and knee position and the transition to the power position. And that is the double pause snatch. From our starting position, we'll move to our power position with vertical shins, then to our power position, and then finish the lift. Just like with the hip snatch, feel free to practice this anywhere from 3 to 10 reps or until you feel sufficiently warm and your technique feels good. And the last exercise in our warm-up is the tempo snatch. A tempo snatch is exactly the same as a normal snatch, but with a slow pull from the ground to our power position before we finish the lift as normal. This is a great way to slow things down and work on the pull, which is where the majority of technique issues in the snatch happen. Just like with the other two exercises, feel free to do these anywhere from 3 to 10 reps before you move into the snatch portion of your workout. Pretty simple, right? 6 lifts, should be able to get it done in about 5 minutes. And I challenge anybody who is doing this to tell me that they are not warm by the end of that warm-up. But we can also modify this warm-up to work on specific technical weak points that you may have. The first and simplest thing that you could do to improve your technique in the lifts, especially if you need a little bit more extra practice with it, is adding in extra overhead squats or pausing for longer in the bottom of your overhead squat. Personally, my lifts always feel better when instead of doing one set of 3 to 5 reps of an overhead squat, doing 2 to 3 sets of 5 in the overhead squat. By the end of that third set, I'm always able to keep my chest up a little bit more, I'm always able to keep my feet a little bit flatter, and I'm always able to keep that bar in the ideal position a little bit better. So if you need to, in your warm-up, in the general warm-up portion, take some extra time in that overhead squat if that's a weak point for you. The second modification that you could make to your warm-up to improve your technique is adding in some speed drills like the tall snatch. Speed under the bar is a common struggle for a lot of lifters, so we can work on this by isolating that exact portion of the movement. Start with your legs completely locked out, begin with a shrug and pull, and move yourself down into your overhead squat. If you've never done this exercise before, it will be fairly challenging, so stick with an empty barbell, and I recommend practicing them in the 3 to 5 rep range because that usually helps people feel the movement better. And the final modification that you could make to your warm-up if you need to work on things like footwork is including an exercise called a snatch balance. This is a common exercise to see lifters use in their warm-up routine. We'll start with a dip and drive and catch in the bottom of the squat. You can also do a drop snatch, which will work on your speed under the bar as well as your footwork. For this, there is no dip and drive with the legs, just moving quick down. So there you have it, a solid barbell warm-up for you to try and some modifications to improve your technique. But what if you struggle with mobility? If that's the case, it's important to understand where your mobility struggles are. Two of the most common ones are the upper back and the ankles. If you struggle with mobility in the overhead position, especially in your upper back, you feel like you just can't quite keep the barbell back far enough, try this foam rolling drill out. We're going to place this foam roller about where our upper back would be, and then laying down on it, reach back and grab the barbell in our snatch grip position. With our elbows completely locked out, drop your hips down and roll forward and backwards slightly. You should feel a good stretch in your chest and potentially some cranking in the upper back that will make this position feel a little bit easier to get into. For this drill, try 1 to 2 sets of 30 to 90 seconds in that position before you move into your empty barbell warm-up if you want to feel your upper back feel a little bit more open before snatching. And the second drill that you could do to improve your ankle mobility, which is another common struggle for a lot of lifters, is an old school stretch called the barbell ankle stretch. We'll sit into a squat and place this barbell right on top of our knees. And simply by doing this, you can feel your calf and Achilles start to stretch. You can feel this front of the shin start to open up a little bit here. And we can even take and put this barbell on one knee and really rock that knee forward and really be aggressive in our stretch on the calf and the Achilles. It's okay if the heels come up just a little bit. Spending some time here is one of my favorite ways to start warming up the ankles if they're feeling particularly tight when I start grabbing the barbell. And there you have it, folks, 2 of the simplest ways that you can start to improve your mobility going into your snatch portion of the workout. And if you find that you still struggle with mobility, then feel free to check out my free Mobility 101 guide for weightlifters linked in the description below. It's got 30 of the best mobility drills that I've found to improve not just your snatch, but your clean, your jerk, and your squat depth. That's everything for this video. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.